What is up, Wisconsin? From the Inside Wisconsin studios, Trevor, John, that's a kick-ass jersey that you're wearing. That's a flex with the signatures. That's the Miracle on Ice jersey, right?
You want to take that full? Look at that.
Yes,
boy.
we should take that full. That is a great call.
1980. This is before you were born, Trevor, but I'm glad you've heard of it.
I have.
So, yeah, and
That's
that
sweet.
is, let's see, we've got Mark Johnson.
That one, yep. And, Badger. Badger
Mike
Bob's
Ruzioni.
son. And that's Mike, right?
Best player on the team, 2 goals against the Russians.
Yeah.
And then Mike Ruzioni, captain of the team, game-winning goal against the Russians.
Why are you wearing that?
So we're here now because we're representing America and Wisconsin, and we have Miss America on the show today. And I realize that there's a difference between Miss America and Miss USA, right? Miss America is kind of slotted above. And so we cleared this with her. I'm not offending her, but this is in honor of Miss America. I have broken out the USA jersey because in addition to our patriotism, I'm showing a little national pride as well.
And we need to, because the nation needs to know Miss Wisconsin, now Miss America, Grace Stanke, and you're about to get to know her. This is an impressive woman that will go wherever she wants to go. We're jumping right in. Miss America on Inside Wisconsin.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Aaron's Company, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, Prevea Health, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review. Smash the like button. Just get with us. John, we've outkicked our coverage. That's Miss America.
Yep.
Grace,
I
welcome
offered to hang
Inside
up
Wisconsin.
and leave the conversation. I offered to leave early.
Good
I
to
mean,
see you.
no. Come on back in. I'm just a normal human being. I'm just a girl from Wisconsin, just like everyone else.
Yes.
Right, because I was just home and I forgot almost all the girls I saw had a tiara and a sash.
That's clear.
Well,
Totally.
they could.
Oh yeah, look, there's
They
another.
could.
There's
You
another
never know.
Wisconsin girl with a crown and a sash. Of course, why? We see that every day walking down the street.
Oh, man.
Good Lord. So
Grace,
Grace,
thanks for coming on Inside Wisconsin. So pumped to talk to you.
Yeah, fantastic. We had too many stupid jocks on this thing. We need to be classed up around this joint a little bit. So,
Oh, well, thanks. Well, I'm excited to be here.
a lot of responsibility we're putting on you, that's for sure. So I am shocked to find out that when one becomes Miss America, you have to give up your state crown. So you're not Miss Wisconsin anymore?
No.
This is crushing.
Yes. So Miss America is a full-time paid job similar to Miss Wisconsin. Miss Wisconsin is a full-time position. And once I become Miss America, my service broadens beyond the state borders a little bit. So my first runner-up actually did take my place. Her name is Kylene Spanbauer. She is the new Miss Wisconsin until the next Miss Wisconsin competition in June. She's a remarkable young woman. Highly, highly recommend booking her and all the good things. So yeah.
No, she's faux Wisconsin. I don't know that I can get behind this. And when honestly, it's selfish. What if I don't want to share? Like, no, this is our Miss Wisconsin. I
can wear 2 of
I don't want to spread you out around 49 other states.
Mm-hmm. Shockingly, I was really surprised at how many Wisconsin bookings came through. I think that is the mentality. I think Wisconsin saw this happen and they were like, we can't let her leave the state. We need to book her 24/7. And that's honestly, I was looking ahead at my summer and like places like Rhinelander booked me and I did not expect Rhinelander to have that there. So I'm super excited and I love Wisconsin. It's my home state, forever a piece of me. And it's neat to bring Miss America back to Wisconsin as well.
All right.
Hell yeah, dude.
You assume that you say, we're going to let you vouch for this other girl, this first runner up. She's okay?
Yeah.
She is fantastic. Her and I became very close friends at Miss Wisconsin, actually. And I have this really great video of her just like, it's a really bad selfie after I won Miss America of just the tears, the joy, the happiness. It truly is a sisterhood and you find some really great friends in the Miss America organization. And she is one of them. I got invited to her wedding. Like, I'm going to be there. So
she's a Hawkeye though. She's a Hawkeye.
I know, but sometimes in my heart, I allow just, we set aside those differences. It's like being friends with a Bears fan. Sometimes sometimes you got to like just ignore it and just focus on the good things.
I believe that's check and mate, Carl. They're with the Walter Payton background. So we'll move on.
Yeah, you too. Got it.
But she's good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things I was fascinated by. You mentioned you became good friends. I look at this like a celebration of a sporting victory. However, nobody is excited for who beats them in any other sport but these, like this pageant, right? So you get crowned Miss America, and every person that lost is just overjoyed for you. And I'm like, is that fake? Because I'd be pissed. Is that not?
No, it's actually genuinely super real, which is awesome.
Okay.
I mean, especially at Miss America. Miss America, you're more likely to have a son compete in the Super Bowl than a daughter compete at Miss America, actually. Fun fact. So when you get to that level of competing for this title, you're already like, I've made it. I'm good. I'm done. Like, this is it. And it's really awesome because you get to meet a lot of other really incredible people and support them through their journeys, and they support you in turn. It's just kind of that good relationship that everybody needs in terms of a friendship.
So it's the opposite of who Trevor's implying. It's the opposite of wrestling, where everybody purposely looks like they play like they hate each other. He thinks you all play nice when you do that. I give away this Bowerman Award every year, which is the Heisman of track and field. And they have a women's division and a men's division. I tell both groups, now, when this happens, they put the camera on the three of you, and then they announce the winner. And in that initial shot, make sure you smile and don't go, son of a bitch, I hate that. You know, like, say that so you know the camera's off you. Yeah. If that's how you feel, or take it back to the room, but don't do it immediately. Otherwise, it looks terrible. But so when this happens, because as Trev knows, I'm always interested sort of in the emotions of things. And generally, in the job I do, I talk to people in the immediate aftermath when they have too often the answer is, I can't even describe it. Well, that doesn't do them any good. Now that you're away from it and you've had a month or a little more than that, tell me what it's like when you're sitting there and all of a sudden you hear your name called.
Like, I'm back at that crowning moment, or like right now?
At that moment, they're going to go and the new Miss, and all of a sudden, and you're waiting, and there's that tense little kind of drawn out pause. Yeah, which seems like 4 seconds to me and probably feels like 3.5 days to you. You know what? When you hear your name, bam! What immediately goes in your head?
The biggest thing I can say is it's just like no legible thoughts. It's just pure screaming noises and absolute chaos. Like I said, no legible thoughts. There are no words. If I created an alien language in that moment, I wouldn't be surprised. But it was just really exciting. And, you know, stepping into that role also means I'm stepping into an additional $50,000 in scholarships that I've earned. My time in Miss America, I've now earned almost $70,000 in scholarships. And that speaks to what this organization promotes beyond just preparing great women, but also promoting women's education. So that moment is just like, that was life-changing for me from a educational and a financial standpoint, but also in terms of just, you know, achieving this is a huge success. And I'm incredibly honored to have this role and represent those women that were on that stage with me.
That's like the fellow at the New York Marathon that said, when you start the New York Marathon, money is the last thing on your mind, and when you win, it's the first thing on your mind. I'm good to see that was that went into your head. Like, wow, we can get rid of some debt.
Yeah, it's a very real thing. Like, I'm a nuclear engineering student. Engineering school is not cheap by any means, and typically you don't graduate in 4 years. I'm very blessed that I initially was supposed to graduate in 4 years, but now I've got Miss America, so it's getting stretched out a little bit more. But this is like, it's allowing me to pursue the rest of my bachelor's degree, but also go on and get a master's degree completely paid for, which I had never considered getting a master's degree prior to this, but now I'm like, well, might as well, right? Like, what's wrong with that?
Listen, why leave college any sooner than you have to? I've been in the real world. It's not as good. There's no meal plan.
Yeah. Adulting sucks.
Oh my gosh. I love cooking for myself though. Like, coming home and cooking is one of my favorite pastimes. A good fish fry from any Wisconsin fish fry. Like, you know what I'm talking about when I say that. A good Wisconsin
have kids
fish fry.
though. Grace, get married, have kids. Cooking at home sucks then. You're like, God, what are we gonna have for dinner tonight?
I got a while till all that happens.
Yeah, we don't have to go that far down the road.
Don't rush it.
You know,
don't rush it.
Right. We're worried about what your schedule's in the next year. We don't need to know beyond that.
True. Barely knows what's next week.
Yeah.
So I was chatting with a buddy the other day who always asked me, all right, who's coming up on the show? And I said, Miss America. Oh yeah, she was Miss Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And he goes, she's a nuclear engineering student. My friend, was a nuclear engineering student, and he went off for like 20 minutes about nuclear engineering. So might you give us, it does kind of. So give us the snapshot, if you will, about what you're studying. I assume all of those books behind you are all nuclear engineering books. Like,
oh God, no.
Jeez.
Bold of you to assume I read my class textbooks.
Yeah.
Anyways, but nuclear engineering really is a ton of fun. I describe it as the melting pot of all different types of engineering from a student standpoint. We have to know a little bit of mechanical, a little bit of electrical, a little bit of chem, physics, just a little bit of everything, because what goes into nuclear science really requires a lot of different concepts. But the biggest thing is nuclear engineering really does exist all around us. And I think that's what's really exciting. It's currently powering 20% of America, and there's 60 some reactors across the country. And that's just a remarkable amount of energy coming from that few power plants. Beyond that, it's heavily present in the medicine industry. My dad went through cancer twice, and he's alive today because of nuclear medicine. One thing that people commonly use, MRI machines. That's a nuclear technology that when it first came out, it was actually called nuclear magnetic resonance imaging machines, an NMRI machine. People didn't like the word nuclear, so they just got rid of it and they called it an MRI machine. And now it's a widely used technology. So I personally am all about kind of breaking this poor public perception of the word nuclear and changing that conversation around it, because nuclear is all around us. Bananas are radioactive and you eat those every day. The sunlight's radioactive. You get that's a very normal thing. So it's something that, like, it really is all around us. And if we embrace that and continue promoting that technology, we can harness that power for good.
One more question on that real quick,
go.
John.
Are we going back to bananas?
Did you just word? Yeah, yes, that's weird. But the first thing out of your mouth when I said, tell us about nuclear engineering, was the word melting. I didn't think that was good. Like, you just said nuclear engineering is the melting pot. Don't want those things to melt?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, okay, so funny thing. So nuclear, I love that you're okay with associating it with melting, Okay. So I'm just joking,
right?
because typically
Doesn't sound like he is, actually.
Well, typically people are like, it explodes or it goes super critical or like, whatever. And nuclear power plants don't explode. They melt, which is correct if they go disastrously wrong. And now keep in mind, in the entire 50 years of global nuclear energy history, there's only been 3 major nuclear disasters, and every single one of those has been relatively well contained except for Chernobyl, but that's an entirely different discussion for a different time. Because of the culture at the time, it's difficult to say, just because there was the Soviet Union cut some corners, and that was a completely inappropriately built power plant to begin with. So but it's something that nuclear is a melting pot, and I think it's okay to embrace that. Salad bowl versus melting pot.
It's good. You're good. Just thought it was like, oop.
So then,
there it is.
So then, do you look at things and see a life expectancy or a half-life expectancy on people?
Oh, I look at a life expectancy.
Okay, I didn't know. You never can tell. People in my business are producers. They're not worried about time. They're worried about back time, because they got to always get off and when that happens. Tell me about my colleague real quick. How's Laura Rutledge? She nice?
She is wonderful. She is wonderful. I was able to chat with her a little bit backstage at the Miss America final competition. Yeah. Wonderful young woman.
But you don't want her job, right? You're safe, because this happens. Because I'll be honest, I've seen TV and sports. It's much easier than nuclear engineering.
Yeah.
So, and she's, So I don't know if you knew that, Trev, that Laura Rutledge, former Miss Florida, that works for us, does the SEC Nation and all that stuff, sidelines for SEC. She's great. Yeah, Laura Rutledge. She's fantastic. Former Miss, I think 2012 was Miss Florida.
Yeah, it was awesome. She was at the Miss America competition emceeing the final night. And I just remember there was one point she was literally sprinting to get changed. And I'm like, dang, that girl can not only report the sports, but she can be a part of the sports too. Because she was running and in heels, which beats any football player, if you ask me.
Totally a boss. Yeah. Well, that's what they always said about Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. She does everything he does, but does it backwards and then heels. So,
yep, exactly.
Much more impressive.
Women can do it all. So sorry, little flex.
You said you don't look too far ahead, but I saw you look down a little. What's kind of your schedule for the next year? Like, and I'm not saying you got to give me a roadmap so we can find you, but like, are there 200 events? Are there everything from state fairs to visiting the White House? Like, give us a overview of what a schedule for Miss America looks like.
Yeah, so typically I have appearances that range from the Rhinelander County Fair all the way to international nuclear conferences that I'll be the speaker at. We are working on things like the White House and things like that. It's really fun because Miss America is shifting back into a celebrity sort of role. So it'll be a combination of service and giving back to the community in the form of speaking at these conferences and promoting STEM in women all across the country, but also being able to highlight the joy that it is to be Miss America and the awesome parts of this job.
Rhinelander County Fair, White House. I mean, you've covered like international nuclear conferences, but by all means, get those hodags in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say. So you've dominated Wisconsin. Let's be real. And you've won damn near every Miss something along the way.
Oh, not quite, but
what'd you miss on? Did you miss? Because last I checked,
why'd
you got
go into
them all.
your thick Wisconsin accent there? Did you miss?
Whatever.
Oh my gosh. Okay, side story about accents. Sorry, this is a total digress, but it's fine.
Love it.
So at Miss America, Miss Nevada's a musical theater major, and she is incredible at accents. And every time I would see her, she and I got along really well, and she would just slip into the Midwestern accent. So after being called into the top 11, we both made top 11. We're standing on stage, and it's literally caught on video. I have it on video. We go over, she shakes my hand, and we just go, "Go Pack Go." And it was just a very wholesome moment that I'm like, wow, this is nice. This is nice.
Yeah,
well, I didn't mean to slip into that. It's just natural.
Trevor slipped into it. Yeah, after a second Scotch and water, or when he's really trying to, cozy up to the guest and make it sound like he's really in, right? Or a third old fashioned, something like that. Then
something like it.
But no, really, you've done very well, right, Miss Wisconsin? And it all started back when you were Miss Outstanding Teen, right? Is that the first one? I mean, tell us the path to Miss America.
Yeah, I started when I was 13 years old competing in the Miss America's Outstanding Teen organization. So I was looking for more performance opportunities for my violin. And I came across the MAO Teen organization, and I was like, this is it. Like, I get scholarships. I might learn how to do my makeup. I get more performance opportunities as a violinist. And I said, why not? Let's try it. So I competed in state 1 year. In 2013, I was Miss Wausau's Outstanding Teen. And fun fact, Kylene Spanbauer, the now Miss Wisconsin and this year's first runner-up, she became Miss Wisconsin's Outstanding Teen that year. I didn't place. I didn't get anything. I just kind of got the participation award of, okay, here's a scholarship for being here. But then I went back home and I was like, I really enjoyed competing. I want to do it again. And I returned to state the following year and became Miss Wisconsin's Outstanding Teen in 2017. So it's really funny because Kylene crowned me as Outstanding Teen. And then now as Misses, we competed together this year and I crowned her as Miss Wisconsin. So it's kind of full circle, but I did compete twice for Miss Wisconsin throughout the past 2-3 years. There was a COVID year, so we had one state competition, but there was still 2 years. As the whole world was put on pause for those 2 years.
Yeah. I appreciate you trying to continue to pump her up because I know you can tell I'm disappointed a little. I don't know this woman at all. She's probably fantastic, but right now I haven't fully embraced.
She is awesome. She really is awesome.
Well, we're still not there yet, but so
you'll get there. You'll get there. Meet her one day. Like all you have to do is talk with her for literally 2 minutes, and you're like, "Yep, respect, got it."
I know. That's probably how it is, but it took a long time for people to get over Brett Favre and invite and embrace Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
so it's going to take me a little time to get over the old Miss Wisconsin and embrace the new Miss Wisconsin.
All right, I respect
that could happen. I do have this question because you started when you were 13. I have a daughter who went through dance. I had a son who went through Little League. And there were enough Little League parents sometimes to drive me nuts and enough dance parents sometimes. But they always seem to get the publicity, right? So we see toddlers and tiaras and that gets all the thing. Give me, you talk about myths of nuclear things. Give me a pageant myth that's just like, I get it. It's great for the so-called unscripted TV, but that's not how it is. And I say that, like I said, I see a Little League dad, but for the most part, no, Little League's really great for kids. Yeah. And so is dance for my daughter, the confidence it gave her, even though there was a lady once in a while that had a stopwatch to make sure her daughter was in the front row once in a while. Give me something, explode a myth with the pageant culture that's probably too prevalent that needs to get tamped down.
I'm gonna just start by saying, the dumb blondes, like that sort of idea of that.
Yep.
Women that compete in competitions like this, they aren't as intelligent as, whatever it might be or whatever standard. But the thing is we're the women who really can do it all. We're not afraid to be intelligent women. And whether it's nuclear engineering, or this year we had future trauma surgeons, we had doctors, we had lawyers, we had teachers, we had literally any career you could imagine up on that stage representing their career at this year's Miss America competition. But beyond that, we're not just women who are ambitious about our careers and our futures. We're also people who aren't afraid to have hobbies. Oh my gosh, I'm a competitive water skier. I love hiking. My ideal weekend is camping in a tent in the middle of nowhere. It sounds perfect to me, right? But that's something that I think is a common misconception about Miss America, is that we are intelligent women that aren't afraid to take on challenges and aren't afraid to take action on our specific issues. And I always say we're the women who can. That's my biggest message about our candidates and our competitors moving forward, is that we're the women who can, and we're not afraid to do it.
We're going to get you to FaceTime with Miss Wisconsin, like the real one, before we're done with this, just so John can say hi.
I totally could. She might be at work, but I totally could.
we will. We'll see if we can do that in a little bit. We're going to take a break with Miss America and come back and continue the amazing conversation. You deserve everything that you've gotten to here, Grace, and we want to learn more. We're back in a bit.
Very much. Very excited.
Inside Wisconsin with Miss America, Grace Stanke.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Aaron's Company, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, Prevea Health, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review. Smash the like button. Just get with us. Do you get polar vortexes in Connecticut like we do here? That's a thing.
Does that mean like snow? Listen, they're coming up with new names from all the time. I don't know what a bomb cyclone is. It's either. I knew that you had a snowstorm or a blizzard. Those were the only two things. And now
nor'easter.
We get nor'easters. Yep.
What is that?
By the way, it's just like a snowstorm. Oh. It's just because it's where it originates and then where it hits, and if it parks over the Long Island Sound and spins around a little bit, and it snows a bunch. That's all it is. It snows a lot.
Snows a lot. Well, it does that here too. And when it does, we're all stuck inside. It's a perfect time for a Miller Lite. I was thinking too, the best way to get away from all the winter weather, spring training is coming. I think pitchers and catchers report like within days. So jack for that. Oh, wow. Miller Lite tastes good in the winter with friends and also in Phoenix with the Brewers. So wherever you choose, whether it's a nor'easter or during a, did you say bomb cyclone? Like what is that?
They call that now where it snows a lot. And then, that's just another term. Everybody, weather's become a big thing since the Weather Channel and now instead of just going, hey, it's going to snow in your area, they're like 280 million people are in the way of this storm because it comes through. Here's part of the reason Miller Lite is great in the winter is because literally if you can just shove it in a snowbank.
Yeah.
Right.
It comes out.
My wife sometimes you're like, oh, we don't have any room in the fridge. Let me solve that for you. Boom, snowbank. Good. Go out and get there. Perfect temperature. Doesn't freeze. Love it.
It does freeze eventually, though. I've noticed this, that if you have it out there a little bit too long, you got friends over, you're having a little get together in the middle of winter, and you pop that one, and you're like, whoop, better bring it in for a second. Getting a little slushy.
By the way, I have a Miller Lite question for you.
I have an answer, hopefully.
Can you explain this?
Yes, I can. Our friends at Miller Lite sent us some gear. I don't have mine on, but I'm glad you grabbed yours. It's football in America, of course. Yep, just a little Miller Lite football shirt.
I think there's more where that came from. That or what, but that's great, and I'll try not to spill on it. But there you go. I can now.
I got one as well.
All things, I could have used that maybe on the night of the national championship game to represent, but that's all right. So
okay.
Sometimes
it's here.
I get a lot of random stuff sent my way, so I'm glad this one was intentional.
Is it too much to ask that we test the old delivery system and maybe send us a case of Miller Lite? Like we clearly know that's a thing. If you go to MillerLite.com/Inside Wisconsin, you can have Miller Lite delivered right to you. All right. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Indeed, go to MillerLite.com/Inside Wisconsin to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Did you find it in any unique places this time around?
I got it at a bakery. Yeah, I was getting some cupcakes, and oh, look here, I bought it at a bakery.
It was a 24-ouncer, guaranteed. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Thanks for having a Miller Lite with me here in the studio last time. I don't know what you were doing back there, but it was kind of fun. We are back inside Wisconsin between segments with Grace. It's Miss America. Grace is Miss America. It is time for another top 5 list presented by Wisconsin's best agriculture program, the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. UW-Platteville offers an affordable, top-rated program that prepares graduates to be leaders in the fields of agriculture and agribusiness, contributing to our state's economy and making our communities even stronger. Find out more at uwplatt.edu. I feel like we should have asked Grace that. You ever milked a cow, Grace? Ever worked on a farm? No.
Ever tipped one over?
Yeah.
Right.
Do it.
Because people will be gullible, right? First off, everybody thinks cow tipping, right? I bet she can perpetuate that if she wanted. Yeah. And I will tell you this real quick. My daughter, Katie, who went back to college for the second semester, before she went, she got her hair dyed a little she's brown hair. She got it kind of a coppery color thing. And then went to Arkansas and told people that gullible friends of hers that did not know in the South that your hair turns that color during the snow because it rusts.
Come on, they bought it.
A couple of them did, yeah. Which I love it. I think, okay, so she's like her dad. She's like, I'm going to see if I can pull these people in to see if her mom would go like, you can't do that. That's not true. You wouldn't do that. And her dad's like, that's really funny. I think you should. Yeah. So that happened.
All right, top 5 list time. It's yours this week.
So I'm trying to be topical with what we're doing here. Mm-hmm. with Grace and Miss America and her speaking so passionately both about the pageants and the participants in those pageants and what a high quality group of young women that participate in that, and that, Miss America, you got a better chance of getting a son in a Super Bowl than a daughter in the Miss America pageant.
That's nuts.
So I am going to give you 5 people that I have worked with in my career or at ESPN or other places that have a sash, that have won a pageant title, that indeed are of the quality, maybe not quite nuclear engineers, but are of the quality of of Grace when you come through. So, and these are people, because you could go national, you go, oh, here's Phyllis George, right, who was Miss America in 1971 and was on the NFL Today with Brett Musburger and was really a leader in the field. But I don't know Phyllis George other than having watched her from my living room there on 1670 Beamer Street as a kid. So anyway, these are 5 really talented, remarkable women that I know and have worked with somewhere along the line and are a Miss something. So we mentioned one, Laura Rutledge, at number 5, was a Miss Florida in 2012, does all our SEC stuff. Is just amazing. That she keeps Tim Tebow in line and some of these guys in line is fantastic. So she's there. 4, only because it's a giveaway or I'd rank her higher. But since we're going to talk about it, you've got Nicole Briscoe. Yeah. Nicole Mansky, born in Wausau. So she was Miss Teen Illinois. She was Miss Teen Illinois and was first runner-up in the Miss Teen competition. So she's there. At number 3, do you know Katie George?
No.
So Katie George is at ESPN, does a lot of the ACC network. She was a Miss Kentucky. She was also an All-American volleyball player at Louisville. Jeez. Like the bomb, right? Just crazy good as an athlete. And I think she was like a 3-time All-American. Oh, by the way, and then I had found time somewhere being a Division I athlete. I Miss Kentucky and now works for us.
So spare time.
She's there. Number 2 is 2010's Miss Teen Kansas. Do you know who that is?
I can't believe you just said that word for the record, but no, who is that?
Friend of the program, Olivia Harlan.
Was she?
Yes.
That's why it's allowed. Good for her.
That's why it's allowed. Friend of the program. So she's number 2 on the list. Okay. And then number 1, actually not at ESPN, was Miss Teen USA in 1998 and sideline reporter for 1 year on Wipeout, Vanessa Lachey.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your 5 right there. And there are more that have used that platform to move into it. But those are 5 people that I've kind of rubbed elbows with in some way, shape, or form along the way that are, like I said, they've got a sash and they've got a career and a resume that you're like, wow, I should be so impressive, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's
Right.
so much more than the sash, but the sash is the icing on the cake of just these amazing women that have accomplished these things.
It's better than walk-on athlete at Mizzou and now sportscaster at ESPN. Like they've done some things for sure. So,
all right, we'll continue our education about all things Miss America and a lot of nuclear engineering. You'll enjoy it, we promise. Back to Miss America, Grace Stanke. We are back inside Wisconsin. Trevor Thomas, John Anderson, and Miss America. The song in my one of these things is not like the other.
come on.
It's just calling it what it is.
I don't know which one it is. We all got a little bit of Wisconsin in us. It's fine.
Yeah, one of us is wearing a crown.
It just depends how you mean that. Does that mean one of us isn't like the other and that's a bad thing? Or does she need to be more like us?
No, I don't think she needs to be more like us.
Okay.
So, Grace, right when we first popped on, we noticed right away the crown is on, the sash is on. What does your contract say that the amount of time you're required to wear those things per day?
So I don't have to wear it like all day, every day. I don't go to the grocery store in this, believe it or not. As much as my grocery store clerk lady, that she knows me by name and everything, as much as she would love that, I still need to like be a human being, right? So I don't wear it when I'm doing normal human things like my laundry, but I do go through and wear it for events that are official Miss America things and bookings like this.
So when you water ski, no sash.
Okay, funny story. I actually think I'm going to work with the Sash company, who is our sponsor for our Sash, to try and get like a water skiable equipment.
Totally.
Because I've been booked for competitive, like for water ski events. And I'm like, I would totally ski in this. Like I would totally go out and bring my trick ski, go out there, do a couple O's and all the good stuff. But you know, I think it'd be fun to get like a 3D printed crown or something that's not as like, you know, sinkable. And then go out there and do it, because why not? Why
Your
not?
humility,
You get a water skiing Miss America.
but your humility is admirable, because we've had people on here that have Olympic gold medals and they're kind of the same way. And I'm like, I would wear it to go pick up my paper. I would start paying bills in person so that I could wear it and go down to the electric company and pay my bill in person with my Olympic gold medal or my sash. So that's, you're very humble in that you don't want to, sleep in the crowd and do all those. Did you the first night though? Like guys win the Masters and they sleep in the green jacket. How about the first night? Did you sleep in the sash or anything?
The first night, okay, so the first night, keep in mind, I was up until 3 a.m. and I had to be up by 5. So it was a point of just like...
You're a 20-year-old college student. You should be up till 3 a.m. once in a while. It's not terrible.
No. But I actually really value getting 8 hours of sleep. It's really important to me. I do have a skill of being able to fall asleep anywhere, anytime, which is great, because like if my flight is delayed at the airport, great. Catching up on sleep. You can catch me doing that. But it was a really fun night because I was able to go through. They have a Miss America suite where that's where my family is and everything after the competition. And I got to visit with them. And then at about 2:30, I kicked them all out and said, I'm going to bed. I've got to be up and working in the morning now. So I went through and it was just literally laying on the nightstand next to me because I was exhausted. And I was like, this is, it doesn't fully fit yet. I still have to get it fitted. So it doesn't fully work. So it's okay. It's okay though.
They don't pre-size those like Super Bowl rings. Like, hey, if Grace wins, she's a size 7 1/4 or something like that, right?
Oh gosh, that would be really crazy. Measuring 51 candidates, making sure that it all works and everything. Mm-hmm. No, I have just like an absurdly pointy head, like you can see.
Jeez.
I don't know what it is.
You were trying not to point that out. We were going to go like,
yeah, sorry, wasn't going to say anything.
It's the hairstyle, I got to kind of fluff it out to make sure you can't see it.
How do you get to be Miss America with a head that pointy? That was not a question, but I'm going to let that go now. Otherwise, it sounds kind of petty.
Well, maybe with enough of these, they'll get it fixed. We'll see. No, that's one thing. Yeah, that is one thing that's changing actually with a lot of the changes that are happening within the organization right now. There is actually going to be like fittings, and they're going to incorporate red, white, and blue into the crown and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's really exciting.
John, did you hear the...
Go ahead, Trev.
Sorry, buddy. I was just going to say, John, did you hear the flex that she just said? She's like, hey, ladies, one of us is Miss America now, and I have to work in the morning. So if you could all just, get out of my room, like you guys can sleep in, but I got stuff to do.
Trev, you don't think everyone's...
The next day I went through and I had like 19 different media interviews that I had to be up and awake for. We were going through my contract. Like I was doing things from 6 a.m. until probably 9 p.m. that night. So it was definitely a busy day that Friday after.
So Trev, if you don't think I do that with my family every once in a while, like, hey, I'd love to stay in this call, but some of us have to go be on national television. But then what happens is I have my sister who's a nurse. She'll go, that's okay. That's right. I forgot I have to go save lives.
Yeah.
And that puts me, who do you have someone in your life who puts you in place like that goes, Miss America? Great. But I'm helping X.
Okay, so funny story about that. That happened. So my roommates down in Madison that I lived with, I don't live with them anymore, but I still call them my college roommates. One of them just over winter break, like went to a lot of really cool places. And I kid you not, I was sitting there like I just became Miss America. And she's like, great. I just went on like a moonlit horseback ride up a mountain in the Himalayas. And I'm like, I thought my life was cooler than yours.
Right.
I thought I finally got there, but you still beat me.
Fun. Yeah. There's always somebody there. You talked about yourself and the women that you compete with being can-do and those people. So I have a 19-year-old daughter, and you talk about STEM and getting more and more into that.
Yeah.
It's great when you're sitting here at 20 and it sounds amazing. How do we reach back as a dad and mom for all daughters? Because this starts at like 6 when my daughter goes, I hate math. And my wife would go, yeah, I was terrible at math too. And I'm like, just don't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with just how we talk to the kids, that we say, no, it's okay. You can do math just fine. But that prerequisite, when she said that, she's like, yeah, I don't like math either. No. We don't say that. How far back do we have to reach so that we're at the core level of growing this thing so that we have more people turn out like you?
I think one of the misconceptions is that you have to be an engineer or you have to be a mathematician to help out, the STEM industries. I will fully admit engineers are not great at communicating most of the time. Typically, that's something we struggle with. We need journalists, we need communications, we need marketing people that are willing to work on that and help with the communication of this high-level technology to the general public. I say that's one of the biggest issues in the nuclear industry specifically and the nuclear community is we have this big gap of a lack of knowledge of where nuclear exists and how nuclear affects our lives. All of nuclear engineers, I learned about it in school. We know that. But the general public, when I told my parents, like, yeah, a banana's radioactive, they're like, oh my God, can we eat it? Are we sure? Is it safe? Do we need to double check? Like, do we need Geiger counters? Should we be worried? And I'm like, no, it's totally fine. Like, it's just the normal amount of background radiation that you receive on a daily basis anyways. And that's where we need those communicators. We need everyone to be involved in this. There's more ways than just becoming, the technical lead on this specific project. There are so many ways to get involved, whether it's a salesperson or working on the political side of things too. That's a huge part of a lot of issues within the STEM industry is we need more policy help and things like that.
So I'm going to read this word for word.
Sure.
That one of our career goals is to produce efficient, clean, zero carbon energy for America through nuclear energy in a core design position. That seems pretty heavy stuff. If I'm just a sports reporter, explain to me exactly what that means.
So that has shifted a little bit in terms of my career ambitions now, but that specific thing, so producing zero carbon energy, right now, fossil fuels and the coal industry and gas industry is going through, and when there's electricity powering your home, carbon emissions is being produced by that power plant that's creating that electricity. So that's why as a nation, we need to move over to zero carbon alternatives like nuclear power, like wind, like solar, hydroelectric, and many, many other forms of zero carbon energy. Now, specifically within nuclear, I'm obviously super biased. I'll fully acknowledge that. I think it's one of the best options moving forward into that future because it uses very small land to produce an immense amount of power. Additionally, each human being, like for me, throughout my entire lifetime, the amount of waste I will produce from a nuclear power plant is the size of a soda can. It's that small and that powerful and that effective. And that's something that I think really speaks to just the ability of a nuclear power plant. But a core design's position specifically is working on designing that reactor core, because within every nuclear power plant, basically we have a bunch of hot rocks that creates steam, like a teapot, There's steam coming out of a teapot and that steam turns, those plastic shiny windmills that you would plant in your yard as a kid and watch them spin? Put that over a teapot and that's what creates power. So we're just as a core designers figuring out what's the best kind of hot rocks we can use to create this steam. That's what a core designer does.
Trevor, you taking notes?
Yeah. Can you please run for president? Like you have it all figured out. I mean, 15 years, just figure it out.
You got to wait 15.
Yeah, 35, right? 15 more years. We'll
Yeah,
watch for
we'll
that,
get there, we'll
Grace.
get there.
Career goals.
There you go.
Two things came to mind when you guys were talking about math. Number one, did you have the math teacher in high school that said, well, probably not Grace, right? Because these things existed. But John and I both had that teacher that said, you can't carry a calculator with you everywhere you go. Yep. Bullcrap.
Yep. I agree.
Yep. Totally have that figured out. And I was today days old when I realized that bananas are radioactive. So I'm taking
everything's radioactive.
This
Now
is
that
true.
come on. Now that
Is
you've
it?
got to be smarter than that.
Everything is radioactive, actually. Technically, your body is radioactive. You, as a human being, produce radiation. So, yeah.
I was not smarter than that.
You should have had Crazy Ray Greisinger for physics like I did. You would know these things.
Yeah.
You didn't have Crazy Ray when it comes through.
Yeah.
It's fun to talk about where you are today, Grace, and where you're going. And, man, you will go wherever you want to go. That is clear. Let's talk about where you came from. Let's talk about growing up. And did you hear how she said Wausau, by the way? It was Wausau, not Wausau. Wausau.
That's what it is.
Caught that.
So are you saying that's correct, or that's the Wisconsin pronunciation? Because people say Milwaukee too, and there is an L in the word, like Milwaukee. So it just depends where you're. Or I've also been to Trivers too. So it just depends,
My favorite is Shawano. I gotta say that one is my favorite to ask other people to pronounce, because that was one thing we did at Miss America is I was like, somebody pronounce this, and Shawano, and I'm like, no, just Shawano. Just let it roll, just Shawano. That's it. And then you give them something like a Economawalk, and it's exactly what it looks like, and it just cracks me up because I'm like, there's no pattern. No pattern.
Yeah, or ask them if they can spell Wyowiga or something fun like that when it goes through.
Yep, Wyowiga.
So were these career goals of yours when you were a young kid in Wausau growing up? I mean, absolutely not. All right. What did you want to be when you were 13? My son wants to be a chef or an NFL football player. I mean, how did you get here? Where'd you start?
Yeah, so that's actually a really great story as to how I ended up in nuclear engineering. So growing up, my dad was a civil engineer. I always liked math. I always liked science. I was a very ambitious kid, and I pushed a lot of administrators to let me take college level courses as a sophomore in high school and things like that. So I was able to really push my skills in that front in terms of the STEM industry and like those STEM skill sets, which I loved. I love identifying patterns. I love lists. I love plans. I love that organization that engineers have as a structure. So that's something that really always appealed to me growing up. Now, I had zero idea what kind of engineering, absolutely no idea. And I started touring colleges when I was 16 years old. And I was like, oh, well, aerospace sounds cool. Like, yeah, that's got a good future. I can make money, all the good stuff. And then I went to Texas A&M, and they're like, oh, yeah, we have a nuclear engineering department. I'm like, whoa, that just sounds awesome. Like, that just sounds cool. Okay. So I met with the nuclear engineering department, talked with them. It all went way over my head, had no idea what they were talking about. But I went home and I was like, Dad, nuclear engineering sounds really cool. What do you think I should do, nuclear or aerospace? And, my dad, he puts on his dad talk and his dad look, and he goes, Grace, don't think nuclear is a good option for you to pursue in your career. There's no future there. You should really consider this. And I went, 16 years old. What do you think a teenager does when their dad tells them they shouldn't do something?
You're wrong.
Exactly. So I went into nuclear engineering is actually what started this entire thing. Wow. But obviously, I went to Madison, UW-Madison, and I chose nuclear engineering to start off with. And I honestly thought to myself, okay, if I hate it, I can just transfer out of it. Not a big deal. But I ended up falling in love with it because I realized it's that melting pot of just a little bit of everything. I don't necessarily have to choose just one thing because I can do a little bit of everything with nuclear. I like waking up and doing different things every day from a personal standpoint. And nuclear presents that challenge. It presents something different on a daily basis, which I love. Beyond that, my freshman year, I got involved in a research lab. I learned about how nuclear medicine saved my dad's life. I learned how fusion, I believe, is the future of our energy sources. I then started working for a nuclear power plant company, and I learned more about the refueling process and learned about core design and learned about all those things. And it just continued to build this excitement and passion within me.
I worked at McDonald's in high school.
I did IHOP when I was 14.
Arby's.
Okay, I just thought, because then I went to work for the nuclear power plant. Of course.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. I went down and worked. I went and worked for Ray Kroc and Uncle McDonald's, which is really kind of an amazing thing. Here's the deal I will say about all engineers that I have found. that they're the reason they're really good to have around, because most of us sit around and bitch about problems, right? That's what we do, especially in journalism, right? Here, this is bad. This is like, but engineers are your problem solvers, right? Engineers just get to work on, oh, here's the problem, we have to solve it. And like, that's just what they do by nature. They're usually engineers. You said they're maybe not the funniest people all the time, but they're great managers, because like, here's the problem and we got to solve it. And I have found that in a lot of places where people go, you know, if you have that engineering background, because it sounds like, oh, engineer, I'm just going to all day just be making calculations. And they're like, no, those people they are the problem solvers. Those are the people you always want to attach yourself to, because they find solutions. That's their job. Where the rest of us sit around and complain about what's the matter.
No, and
dig in.
Yeah, but I mean, I do seriously. I'll go back to what I said earlier. We need, journalists. We need the communications people. We need other people to help out with where engineers fall short. Because yes, I would agree that we like our lists, we like our procedures, we like to have our structure in terms of, okay, what is our plan moving forward with this process? What is our plan of attack? And not just plan A, but in the nuclear industry as a co-op, I was bottom of the barrel, all the good stuff. But I was creating a process that would be implemented into 12 different nuclear power plants. So not only did I self-review it, but my mentor self-reviewed it, my boss self-reviewed it, and then someone totally outside of our group that had no idea what I was doing self-reviewed it to make sure it was all correct. And then we sat down and said, what is the worst case scenario if this doesn't work? Are we prepared for it? And that speaks to the culture of safety that exists within the nuclear industry. We are always prepared for worst case scenario. Nothing happens unless we are ready to handle the worst possible scenario. And rarely does that happen. But it's that level of preparation and that level of planning of having a plan A all the way through plan, double Z, of knowing what to do and what steps to take forward. And that's just one thing that I love about engineering culture is never do I feel unprepared or uncomfortable in a situation. I'm always ready to move forward.
I don't mean to quantify or qualify everything in the parameters of Miss America and the 51 gals that are there. But sometimes it makes it easier because you can speak across broad. But if you're sitting there with those gals, tell me when you like, and here's why my hometown was a great place to grow up in. So you're sitting those, why would you tell them, no, seriously, Wausau, you may think Wausau. Tell me why Wausau was a great place to grow up.
Well, I lived a couple minutes away from Granite Peak, so there's nothing better than throwing yourself down a hill on two pairs of sticks. Nothing better for some eighth grader to be like, hey, Mom, I've got 2 hours. Go drop me off at the ski hill, right? But Wausau has a really, really unique culture, I think. We are very much so a community in a sense of supporting each other within the community. There's not a lot of outreach just because we are so ingrained in believing in ourselves and supporting within the Wausau community. So just trying out local restaurants. Last weekend we got a fish fry from a new restaurant that just opened up down the street. And that was something that was really exciting and just kind of speaks to our community and our culture.
Have you called the Cheesehead company? Oh, sorry, John, go ahead.
Growing up, like nobody ever called it Granite Peak, right? Everybody just went skied at Rib Mountain. Like they're really bad. They're like the Jello of like I'm sure there's actual names, but we just go, where do you go ski? We're just going up to Rib Mountain.
And that's definitely what I normally refer to it as, but for lack of typically general public don't know that it's like, oh yeah, Rib Mountain. Like I don't even when I went, I would have a season pass just because I was so close and everything, and it was enough that I was able to justify buying a season pass. But I would never park at the bottom of the hill and then go up. There's a parking lot at the top of the hill through the state park where it's right at the top of a chairlift. So all you have to do when you're done is you ride to the top of that chairlift and you just ski right to your car. And it's chef's kiss. I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have said this. Now that parking lot's going to be full. I regret this. Local knowledge is key. And it's like every other sporting event. The ticket to get in is nothing. Parking is everything. Yeah, exactly. Parking at any event is, I don't care if you're probably at Miss America, is like, okay, I can get in the door. I just need to know where to park. Parking is everything. Yep.
Well, I was today days old when I realized it was Granite Peak and not Rib Mountain. I've called it Rib Mountain my entire life. Wow, I at least have an associate's degree in some things at the end of this conversation. We'll keep it going. All right, one more segment with Miss America, Grace Stanke. We're back in a bit inside Wisconsin.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Aaron's Company, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, Prevea Health, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube, leave a review, smash the like button, just get with us. I'm This is going to sound, I had no idea bananas were radioactive. And then I just Googled what foods are radioactive. And it apparently is foods high in potassium. So bananas, carrots, potatoes, leafy vegetables, salt. Salt. I thought it said salt peanuts. Salt, peanuts, and red meat. These are all foods you can find at Festival Foods, but I'm surprised they don't need their own section. Like, what am I missing? Am I just that uneducated that I didn't know food was radioactive?
The radioactive foods.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything has some form of it. Yes. So you're a little bit, which doesn't make me a genius or a scientist. Means Crazy Ray was a really good teacher when I had him.
I was going to say
in Scotty.
Is it chemistry or physics? That should tell you how much of this I know.
It can be either or,
Yeah.
but chemistry obviously, because then you have plutonium, or uranium. These are the things we have to enrich if we're going to make, things like reactors and bombs.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Not good.
I don't know. Luckily, she didn't ask us, hey, what's the atomic number for uranium?
Yeah. Nope. Got nothing. But I did learn that there is radioactive food. They're all safe. We eat them every day. I was unaware of these things, and they are all in their own beautiful space there at Festival Foods. Red meat is radioactive. Why is red meat? I don't know. I guess I got to do some research.
Iron?
Potassium?
Yes,
what is
red meat's very high in iron.
Why does that make it
Everything's got some.
I'm getting dumber by the second. I think I should just stop. Go to festfoods.com, search radioactive food. I don't know. Doubtful that's going to come up.
Don't search radioactive food.
Search. That seems stupid. Let's not do that.
Right. Look up, picnic supplies or Super Bowl party supplies.
Bananas.
Or like that. Yeah,
there's a lot.
Probably better. Let's go with that.
Yeah, that's good. Well, they have it. All of it. All the party supplies that you would need. And every food group that's out there. And I've learned of a new food group. It's new to me. Maybe it's new to you too. Probably not. Just me. Festfoods.com. I'm going back to chemistry class. We're back inside Wisconsin. Trevor, John, and we've learned the former Miss Wisconsin, now Miss America. Thought you got to wear two crowns at once, but I guess not. Grace Stanke.
Unfortunately not. They don't fit together. It doesn't. They don't fit on the same time. So it doesn't work.
We got to get that one to fit first. Hey, speaking of fitting, have you called the Cheesehead company so that they can make you a Miss America Cheesehead crown? Yes.
I like the idea. Maybe that's what I wear when I'm water skiing. That's what, because it floats. Maybe that's what we do.
We will place a call on your behalf.
I'm going to write that down. I'm going to send that to the CEO.
That would be awesome. Yes, send it to the CEO, and then we'll try to, let's make that happen. One more for me, and then John takes and runs. Can you play the da 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 on your violin? Can you do that? That's the Go Pack Go thing. Can you do that?
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not a singer either, but I had no idea what that was singing-wise. But no, I don't know it right now, but I totally could. That's something I could easily learn. So
I think you should.
Yeah.
Do you have the violin? Is it close by?
No, it's not. It's way over there.
That's her way of saying I'm not playing that thing for you right now. So next question.
Sorry. Well, I mean, it would take like a good 10 minutes to get it out and get it tuned and everything, because it just came back from travel, and traveling with an instrument is an adventure because it doesn't do well with extreme changes in terms of like climate and everything. So it's going through its adjustment period right now.
Could have been a cello. It's a lot easier to go with a violin than a cello.
This is true.
Right? If you're going to, be bogged down by the orchestra.
Oh, cellos. Apparently, I don't know how it actually works flying with a cello, but I've heard that you have to buy a separate ticket for the cello. Like, it can't go in overhead storage because, like, instruments can't put under the plane, so you have to like keep it with you when you're walking through the airport. But when you're on the plane, I don't think they have a spot to put it except in a chair. So I find that really interesting. I don't know if that's true or not. Someone might want to double check me. If there's a cellist out there, please send me a DM and let me know. Because I have no idea what that process looks like.
Yeah. See, we all look the same size in these little boxes, but Trevor's big enough that he could use a cello and probably just use it like a violin. Just if you want some appreciation of how big a dude he is.
Big guy, large mammal.
Yeah. So anyway.
I always stood in the back too, by the way, Grace. I don't want to make sure you're not alone on that. I'm 6'8". So me in the back row are big, we're friends.
That's a shocker. I was going to say, because like my dad is 6'6". When I meet someone taller than him, that's when I'm like, all right, you're tall. Like, I'll give you that. And you are indeed tall.
Okay. Is this now? Are we on to my nonsense now, Trev?
You're onto your nonsense
Because
now.
usually you ask some sort of
Sounds so disappointed. Sorry, he just sounded so disappointed.
Well,
that
he
we're
usually
on
has
to the
some. He has some tear-jerking question usually that happens.
right.
Like, what's the?
Sounds
most
I've graduated
Wisconsin-
from those. I was sick of your crap about
No,
them.
that's
So I'm just
okay.
kidding.
That's okay. Usually, like he usually will ask, "What's the most Wisconsin thing about you?"
Right now, most
Yeah,
Wisconsin
go ahead.
Most Wisconsin thing about me is my love for cheese. I went out to Miss America, and I'm putting cheese on my little burrito that I was making, and I'm like, I just miss aged cheddar. Like it was like it was a tragedy for me. I'm not gonna lie. I quite literally pack cheese with me when I travel places because
Nice.
I'm like I can't eat just
Right.
typical cheese anymore.
Have cheese, we'll travel.
The standard has been set on the ceiling, and I can't go anything below that.
I finished third in the talent competition, but I was first in the cholesterol competition, so that helped really push me over the top. All right, are you ready? Here we go. This is we call this the speed round, the nonsense round, whatever. First off,
Let's do it.
Who would win a fight between you and Allison Dairyland?
Oh my gosh, probably Allison Dairyland, if I'm being completely honest. She knows what she's doing. I do not. I've taken one boxing class. That's it.
There you go. Taylor Schaefer probably gets the best of you. Give me your favorite place on the UW campus.
I love, this is going to sound super nerdy, but engineering hall at the research lab I worked with, there's nothing like the little hum of machines that just like, I'm like, I'm at peace. Like, this is my life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They serve beer in the Union, right?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not 21.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I've been in that union before I was 21 too, and it didn't matter. I feel like you can. I bet that sash can get you a lot of things that you have no idea.
Oh my gosh!
There you go.
Well, we'll actually have some of my homecoming events at the union and everything at both of the unions. So we plan a Miss America homecoming, and I'm like, all right, well, y'all, like for all the other Miss States, I'm like, I'm under 21, and I'm under a lot of scrutiny, but.
Yep. Give me a class that sounds like it'd be super hard, but isn't that bad.
Oh, okay. For overall, I'd say thermodynamics. Like it sounds super complicated.
Yeah.
But if you can do algebra, you can do thermodynamics.
Okay. That's not one of my roommates who was an engineer, by the way. By the way, is St. Patrick's Day big in Madison for the engineers too? Because he's the patron saint of engineers. Do you know that?
I did not know that. I'll be honest. In college, most of the time, I had COVID hit my freshman year, so like social gatherings, just in terms of holidays like that, I haven't really known a ton of them, which is sad. But
which one of these is not a real Wisconsin pageant title? Miss Harbor Cities, Miss Green Bay Area, Miss Snowmobile Derby, or Miss Badgerland?
I really got to think about this one here. I'm gonna go Miss Snowmobile Derby.
That's true. She's the snowmobile queen. She's the derby queen. If you go up to the snowmobile, she's the derby queen. Also, there's not a Miss Line and Kugel. I looked that up, and there's not a Miss Whistling Straits.
We totally could have one of those, though, if someone started a local competition. I'm just saying.
I don't know anything about Miss Rock River Valley, but Miss Line and Kugel sounds better. True or false? There's a badger on the Wisconsin state seal.
False, I think. Now I'm questioning it. Am
I
wrong?
It's true. There is a badger on the state.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's right below the forward. Yeah.
I realize you're Miss America now, but you're going to go out and you're going to have to represent us. Okay, so let's.
I'm so disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
I just kind of went. I was like, no, badger is like specifically UW-Madison.
All right, I didn't want to have to do this to you, but now I'm gonna. What's the state bird?
I know the state rock and the state tree and everything. Isn't the state bird? Is it a robin?
It is. What is the state tree?
Sugar maple.
Perfect. What's the state flower?
That one is wood violet.
Because there is a Miss Wood Violet too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's the state? What's the state fish?
I'm gonna go with a muskie.
It is a muskie. Okay. We're good. So we can send you out in the world. You're fine. You're not going to. That's really good. Which ESPN Sports Center anchor was born in Wausau, Wisconsin?
Really? Yeah. I didn't know we had somebody that got out of Wausau. Was it you? One of you two?
I'm not a sports center. No.
I have no idea.
She then moved to Illinois, but Nicole Mansky was born in Wausau, Wisconsin. Good Packer fan.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Now you know. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Here's an easy one. What should the Packers do with Aaron Rodgers? Release, trade, or start him?
Oh, okay. This is a heated subject.
Right.
I'm going to make a commotion. I think trade.
Trade him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're basically taking our greatest natural resource in Wisconsin. You just want to ship him out.
I mean, okay, but the thing is, it's kind of like Brett Favre, where like he peaked, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, Aaron Rodgers, please call me out, correct me on this, prove me wrong.
Okay.
But I feel like Aaron Rodgers may have peaked, and we're on the decline right now. I haven't been impressed.
You guys all are willing to. Trevor's right there. You guys are willing to throw away 17 years of service. I'm the only guy that is.
When the Vikings are doing better than us, there's something wrong with.
I am the only guy. 1 year. Okay. Would you rather have Kirk Cousins? Seriously, ask yourself that. Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, this is for a different thing. Okay, we're not going to do that. Let's see. What else is on here? How far do I live from a nuclear power plant?
Where are we going off of Wisconsin?
No, in Connecticut.
Ooh, in Connecticut, there's a couple in New York along the Great Lakes.
We have one in Connecticut.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I live 65 miles from the Millstone nuclear power station.
Ah, cool.
And then I'm only 60 miles from the sub base, which is great because they have like 16 nuclear submarines down there in Groton.
They have tons there. They're always hiring people and always looking.
Let's see. There's some other ones. Where's oh yeah. Okay. So Trevor asked, how long do you have to wear the sash? How many sashes do you have? Like, do you have a replacement?
2.
You got a backup. Good. You should have a spare. It's kind of like Harry. You need the air, and then you need the spare.
Mm-hmm.
Population of Wausau is roughly 40,000. How many of those people do you know?
I would go 20,000.
And how many claim to know you?
I would go 30,000.
Yeah,
I have had the weirdest people be like, Grace and I were best friends in high school. And I'm like, I don't know your name. I have no idea who you are. Like, what are you doing?
You know what you'll get, though, and I have found this, is on the other side, is you're going to get a random email one day, and it's going to go, Grace, I don't know if you remember me. And it's going to be somebody that you went to school with from kindergarten through graduation. And you're like, what do you mean I don't remember who you are? That'll be the funnier part when you get that one. And you're like, what do you think? Just because I got the sash, now I've forgotten everybody I used to know. Here's the final one I have. Is April 30th, that's your birthday, correct?
Correct.
What plans do we have for our 21st birthday?
Let's go.
I don't know. I have an appearance the day before, so I'm not even going to be in Wisconsin. So I've got work, unfortunately, but after hours, we'll see what happens.
There you go.
You should make your way back here for your 21st. I think that's all but required.
I will try. I will try. I mean, I scheduled graduation weekend for me, though. I did set that aside because that's in May, so right after my 21st. So then I'm in Madison, friends, graduation.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't have an event the next morning after your 21st. I mean, not that you're not going to be responsible. However, let's just be real. It's a big night.
And listen, you do want to walk. I know a number of people that don't. They go, oh no, I don't want to walk, and I'm like, why would you miss that? That to me is like the seminal day. That's like, people go, what your favorite day in college? Is like, well, graduation, because that's covered all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Solinsky, I'll tell you that real quick, Trevor. He's the guy that was he was the Spash Runner national champ. He now coaches at Oregon, and he tells me all the time. He goes, "I wish I'd have gone to my college graduation. I went for a long run that morning." And SVP was his college graduation speaker at Madison.
Oh yeah.
But people that skip graduation, I'll never quite understand that.
I felt that way about my high school graduation. I was just like, I want to go to college. Like, I was like, man, I'm an independent 17-year-old. I know what I do.
Yeah, you topped out early.
I was like, I did graduate early, but I was like, wow, I don't need to walk across this stage or anything. I did still do it, but for college, I don't know. I feel a lot differently where I'm just a lot happier in a sense where it's with people I know and love and trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really grown to be passionate about the engineering major I'm in. I've grown to be a part of the UW-Madison community. They're sponsoring, my part of my Miss America homecoming celebration and things like that. And it's something that I think, it speaks to UW-Madison and the culture they have there. And I'm excited to walk. I think it'll be fun.
Well, we're excited that you gave us this time. We really appreciate it. Honestly, I have no ill will to the sitting Miss America.
No, let's FaceTime her right now.
Sitting Miss Wisconsin.
Yeah, let's
FaceTime her? I can.
Let's at least try to get ourselves introduced to the real Miss Wisconsin. Say hello. Let's FaceTime Miss Wisconsin, and then we'll let you know.
Oh my
All right.
God.
All right. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see if she answers. I wonder what your title is in her phone.
Oh God. I don't
Is
know.
it Miss America or
nickname?
that?
I don't know. She might have changed it, but for so
Stacey
long.
Gracie, anything like that?
I mean, she might. I don't know. Last night we were talking, and I was like, "Hey, like I've got a couple of dresses. Like, do you need extra dresses or stuff?" Because like the Miss America dress code versus the Miss Wisconsin dress code, a little bit different.
Really?
But no, Kylene, don't let us down.
Come on,
Don't let us
Kylene.
down.
Come on, Kylene. Oh,
I swear I'll believe. I can play that one on my violin.
that's because it actually has a violin part.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Bummer. Next time.
Okay, next time. I was gonna say, if anything, feel free to reach out to her. She's super awesome and would probably.
I will say this now, just totally reinforces my disappointment. I'm not going to hold back anymore.
She has a job. Like, she's got a really cool job. She helps with like domestic abuse victims and things like that. And so she might be doing something
Now
really.
you're going to make me feel
right
terrible
now.
about it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
Let's get out of here. Grace.
yeah, just like one of those things. So sorry to make you feel like a schmuck.
Right.
But
Here I am, yeah. Here's
Oh,
Inside
man.
Wisconsin with Trevor and the worst human being in Wisconsin that you know. Thanks a lot, people.
Well, you could make it up
Great.
by scheduling one with her. And there you go.
We'll try. Good. Well,
Awesome.
thank you. This was absolutely awesome. You are amazing. Such an amazing representative
Agreed.
of us and the states and everything that is where you want to go and where we all hope to be. So, Grace, this was great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
Badger on the flag. Badger on the seal.
There it is.
Doing the right thing.
All right, so let's cover some ground. Bananas are radioactive. Rib Mountain is actually Granite Peak. And I wrote down that a cello requires its own plane ticket, amongst other things that I didn't completely understand. Grace was incredible.
So these are the things that you took away that now have that further your body of knowledge out of this thing.
There was a lot there that I
You didn't
chose
bother
not
to write
to
down how a nuclear
No, I
energy
did not.
works.
Man.
That's still above. That's way over your head. We're not going to worry about that. But if the boys decide to get on the cello, you can discourage that because you're like, listen, I'm not paying for that thing to go across the room. This is what
Right.
you've come out of that. That's the whole thing.
I love that
Here's one of the
Grace.
most impressive young women you will ever meet,
Seriously.
and you're going to take away the banana thing.
Well, I thought that was more fun, but yes, you are right. One of the most impressive women that we will ever meet.
There you go. Right,
where she-
it makes you proud to be an American, right there.
Yeah, it does. Miss America, indeed.
Fantastic.
What I really like the most is it's clear that Miss America is just a thing she's doing now. It doesn't define her. She will go places because she wants to. And it's this nuclear engineering thing. I mean, I don't know. I was just massively impressed. It was a great conversation.
But I will say this, and I didn't get the chance to ask her, so I could be off base. But I do think that now that you have that title, that is something that is fun to have with you the rest of your days.
Yeah.
I know enough golfers who no matter where you go, you get introduced as the U.S. Open champion. It might be here's the 2000 U.S. Open champ, or here's the 1992 Masters champ, or whatever. And I think there's something about no matter where you go, and if they introduce you as a Miss America, that you would be like, that's still a little goosebump moment, whether you're 20 or when she's 40 or 60. That at least I would feel that way. And like I said, I know people that have things that they've won that are significant that are like that, whether it's a golf major title or, an NCAA champ. I don't know. That's never going to be too far down on my resume.
What did you say your John Wisconsin is? The one time Miss Wisconsin saved your dog?
Well, no, Miss America saved my dog.
Oh, okay.
So
What?
it's John Wisconsin, but it is in Missouri. So because I'm from Wisconsin, I'm kind of reaching out the borders. But because of Miss America, and she has shared that she now belongs to the country, I figure I could sort of expand the thing. And so my dumb roommates and I at 401 South William Street in Columbia, we got a dog one time because we thought, okay, so here's why we got a dog. We lived really close to Stevens College, which was an all-girls college in Missouri. And we used to like to take the dog for walks through Stevens College because, oh, look at the cute dog.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? It's terrible.
So-
It's totally a prop. Are we
Is that how
dog
you met
lovers? We
Tam?
like the dog, but we're not dog lovers. It was a prop. Okay, it was a
Amazing.
means to an end.
Smart.
I hope people can appreciate that, and also
get it.
appreciate I was 21 and a dope. So we had the dog, and we loved the dog, and we named it Penfeld after a cartoon character, Danger Mouse. And so we had Penny, and we walked her all around, and we met a lot of lovely ladies from Stevens College. But as the dog got older, it needed some sort of obedience training that we were not apt or equipped to deliver to this poor pooch. And so it got rambunctious, and it was fine. And like when we'd travel with the dog, you have to give it a sedative, and we'd always like, oh crap, we gave it to it late. So then we'd run it up and down the stairs to make sure it got in the blood flow. And when it kind of looked like he was sledding down the stairs, we knew dog was okay to put in the car. So the dog one day, basically, I told you way too much about the dog. Dog runs into a street, just goes chasing into the street and gets nicked by a car.
Oh,
Slams
no.
on the brake, hits the dog. Dog's like, oh my gosh, we're terrible. So we take the dog right away to the vet, and they literally like, here's what the bill's going to be. And this is a dog we just adopted from a shelter, a puppy.
Yeah.
And we're college kids. Like, I don't know that we're going to have the money. Like, are we going to have to literally put this dog down because we're just cheap college students? So we take it to the vet, and the student on call at the time, right, first or second year vet student, works over and they say, here's what I can do. I can relieve the discomfort. I can it looks like it's cracked a rib and the lung is collapsed. I can reinflate this. We'll do this. And she kind of does it for like at cost value, does it.
Sure.
Well, the dog lives, survives. We eventually got out of college and we found the farm for the dog to go play on because he needed more room. And so the vet that did this was a very kind, like I said, vet student who turned out to be Debbie Turner, who she had gotten her undergrad at Arkansas State and then was vet school at Missouri and then became Miss Missouri. And in 1990 was Miss America.
Wow.
So it turns out Miss America saved our dog.
Amazing. Jeez.
And I've gotten to know Debbie since then. She really never practiced a ton in veterinary medicine. She won the title and had great success. She was such this charismatic and lovely woman and just radiated and was so well spoken. She ended up on a news station in St. Louis and then was a CBS correspondent for years and hosted some other programs around animals and used her degree in that regard. But I don't know that she ever opened her practice. And I still see her at events once in a while. She'll MC stuff. We're there. And she's just the most delightful woman. And I told her the story. By the way, one time you saved our dog. And she's like, there's no way. That's incredible. I'm like, I have a few Forrest Gumpian stories in my life, and that would be one of them, that Miss America saved my dog.
And there you were again with a beautiful woman because of the dog. It just happened to be for bad circumstance that time around. Well, good.
Right. And I would recommend that. I told my son when he went up, here's the thing. Don't get a dog.
Don't
when you're there. College kids, that's really hard when you have the dog. But again, we were dopes and I'll just say it worked.
I was going to say
the original plan.
Super smart.
It worked out.
Just not great. I had a dog in college too. Stupid. I would go back and not do that if I could, but I can't. So, all right, that was awesome. Thanks to Grace Stanke. It's your son. He's buying a dog. That's exactly what's happening.
Hello?
Hello.
Are you buying a dog?
What?
No. Okay, good. We're recording it inside Wisconsin, and I was telling the story about how Miss America saved my dog.
Well, okay. You don't. If you're in the middle of a recording thing,
Yep.
Just call me after. You don't.
Well, this is live, and then it rang and it popped up on my thing, so I figure I'd pick it up. So, are you?
If it's live, hello Wisconsin. Hello Trevor.
There you
Hi,
go.
Colin. Good to see you, buddy.
Are you shoveling today?
Maybe later. The road outside my house looks good enough, but I might have to. So, just call me whenever you're done. Then.
How much is the snow? How much snow did you get?
4 or 5.
Not terrible then. Okay, good. Everything else okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call you in a bit.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
Bye. Pardon the interruption.
Yeah, we're that's absolutely making the show, because what are the odds that you just told your son not to buy a dog, and I was really hoping he's like, so Dad, gonna buy a dog. That's what we decided to do.
There you go.
Man.
Someday
Okay,
someday I'll tell you about the hamster I had to take to Madison so that we could.
There's a never-ending list of John.
That's
Wisconsin.
another. I'm
This
going to
is
have
my
to put
favorite.
that down. Anderson
Yeah.
brings Anderson hamster to Madison. I literally drove from Missouri to Wisconsin with a hamster.
Jeez. Oh, these never get old. Just amazing.
Oh.
Okay. Grace, thank you. We know you're going to see this. That was absolutely amazing conversation. All the best to you. And just we hope you get the crown back, maybe, for Miss Wisconsin. Maybe you get it back and spend a year doing that.
Here's what we should say. What do you tell? What's our tagline? What's our big line? It's the people,
the stories, and the patriotism of inside Wisconsin.
Like that is her. There you go.
It really is her.
Here's what the show's about.
Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on LinkedIn. We have a TikTok. We're pretty much everywhere. And make sure you also leave a review on the podcast side. We know a lot of you are listening, if you're still listening through that story about a hamster. All right. For John, I am Trevor. As you were, Wisconsin. We'll see you next time. This is a Thoroughgood. That's a Thoroughgood, right?
Absolutely.
Hope it better be. Anyway.
It is. It is.
Farmers, brewers, hunters, packers, badgers, cheeseheads, neighbors. No matter what name we go by, we are bound together by our roots. These are the people, the stories, and the patriotism from inside Wisconsin. Welcome to Deeper Roots with Blaine's Farm and Fleet. We are in Merrill, Wisconsin on a cold winter day with our new friend Dick Martin's Thoroughgood is where we are. Dick, you've been with the company not since 1892 when this thing started, but we'll get there. But you've been here a long time as the brand ambassador, and I found out that they just celebrated your retirement this morning. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How many years?
I've been here 28 years. I came in as the outlet store manager, and from there I moved into the warehouse, ran the warehouse as the warehouse manager. Then I came in and ran customer service. It turned out really good. I've had the opportunity to travel the world several times over, and I consider myself the Napoleon of Thoroughgood. I've planted our flag in 32 countries. So,
all right, Thoroughgood started as the Albert H. Weinbrenner Shoe Company in Milwaukee, I believe, in 1892. Work boots and fire boots and military boots. These are all made in Wisconsin. Tell us about the pride of Thoroughgood connected with Wisconsin.
Well, Albert H. first migrated over from Wiesbaden, Germany. He had learned the trade from his father in Germany. He came over here in 1892 and settled in actually Milwaukee. And by 1895, 1897, he actually had his own manufacturing facility up. He had hired a partner, Joseph Pfeiffer. Him and Joseph really created the Weinbrenner Shoe Company and started cobbling shoes for what was then job-fitted footwear. In 1935, they started the facility in Marshville, Wisconsin, and 1936 here in Merrill. And what happened was the city fathers gave them the land that we sit on for $1 for 99 years for a lease.
Wow.
And that is something that is unheard of in today's business.
Are we due here pretty quick?
We have since bought the building and
I was
paid
gonna be
everything back. And we've been manufacturing, like I say, for 130 years. And our pride is job-fitted footwear. So we make boots. That's all we do. I don't make clothes. I don't make gloves. All we've done ever since we started was manufacture footwear. And in fact, from 1921 till 1929, we were the largest shoe manufacturer in the world. We made more shoes than anybody else. To me, Thoroughgood has been a brand that I've promoted and believe in wholeheartedly. When I'm sitting in front of a customer and talking about our product and how well it's made and what we do in stitch for stitch, there's 350 to 400 people behind me doing that task. And I take that very personally, because I know Regina on the stitching machine, and I know Billy in the welting room, and I know Peter out in the cutting room. Those people to me are what makes the product. The fact that we still make things with our hands. When you go in the factory and get to see people build things with their hands and work the machinery, it's art. It's art. It really is.
It's more than just creating a boot, if you will, or footwear. I read that September 11th, 2001, a day or so after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, there was 300 pairs of work boots sent and shipped and donated from Thoroughgood to Ground Zero.
Yep, we packed up what we called at the time was our SO60, our SO80, and our S12, which is 6, 8, and 10-inch lace-up work boots, but they all had puncture, they all had PR in them, or puncture-resistant plates, because that's what they wanted. They wanted any and all boots that they could get from walking through the debris that had puncture-resistant material in them. So we went out there, packed them up, put them on a semi, and sent them. And we packed them up as fast as we could. And I think it was 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, we did it again.
Wow.
There was no hesitation.
You have had some deep roots at Thoroughgood. What are you gonna miss the most?
I'm gonna miss the fact that when you walk in a manufacturing facility, not only does it have its own sounds and sights, but the smell of the leather, and then when you get in there, you can hear the rhythm of the machine. Those things are just unique, really, really unique. I'll miss the people, but to me, it's been a good run. I've enjoyed it.
Well, give us a tour in the factory here and show us all the sights and the sounds and the smells that you just described.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
This is the brand new manufacturing facility that you guys just opened within the last year.
Yep, this is where the magic happens. I'll point out our hide up there. That's a typical cow hide, and you can see the different parts of where we cut the hide from. All these different parts are cut out of different parts of the hide.
Wow.
You smell that?
I do smell that.
You smell that leather? I told you.
Wow, it's like instantaneous. How many do you produce a day?
Right now, between two factories, it's about 2,500 pair.
A day.
Yeah. And what you're walking into now is the raw material warehouse. So everything here will be racked and put on what we call a saddle and then brought out to the factory for production. This will make 8 cases of shoes.
A case of shoes.
So this will make 12 pairs. This is an 834-6325. So this is going to be a black postal shoe. So I want to show you what a typical cowhide looks like. This is a piece of our tobacco Badlands.
That's what I'm wearing?
That's what you're wearing.
The cutting board
This
area.
is the inspection for leather area as well as our textile cutting area.
There's no other way to get this. This has been the same leather for...
We've been getting leathers tanned since the early 1900s. There's no other technology
You
involved.
ever use deer leather?
We have not. We've used kangaroo.
Kangaroo?
Yeah.
I would have guessed kangaroo like 3 days from now at this point.
This machine runs about 2 or 3 days a week, and it can cut everything we need in one day, what we need in a month. Of
course.
It cuts everything.
Technology has probably changed how you build shoes or make shoes over the course of the last 130 years. But at the end of the day, a shoe is a shoe is a shoe, is it not?
A shoe is a shoe is a shoe at the end of the day. Absolutely. You can design different ways of shoes and you can use different materials, but when it comes to putting the shoe together, you're either going to Goodyear welt it, which we do in this factory, you're going to cement it, or you're going to direct inject.
Wow.
What we're doing here is we're entering the cutting room. And what the ladies are doing is they're taking the hides off the saddle, they'll put it on their cutting board, they grab the dies from the die area for the shoe that they want, and they'll hand cut these components out.
Wow. Hand cutting at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, Dick, this is the oldie but a goodie here. What year?
Yeah. So this,
1893?
yeah,
What?
yeah. So this machine does this stitch.
Yeah.
That's the 3-needle pyramid
Wow.
stitch. It's an accent stitch. It doesn't stitch any 2 pieces of leather together. It's an appeal that makes this silhouette iconic.
Wow.
Right there.
Yeah, right there.
And it's 3-needle.
Yeah, it's through the... This shoe came through that machine?
Yeah. At
Well,
one point in time.
wow. I wonder how many hands have been on this
Oh,
machine.
think of how many shoes it's made.
The stories that this machine could tell.
Yeah. And like I say, there's only 2 people that can run this. And what Brittany's doing over here is Brittany's doing the mock. So she'll take it from this, because it's been embossed,
Yeah,
to this.
yeah. I see that. What's after this?
They finish them up, they put the laces in, they put the tags on. In a basic 6-inch boot, there's going to be roughly 60 people that'll touch that product and 115 operations.
Now
So
they're
yeah,
done.
now this is done.
This is done.
This is done.
Ironically, in the process of making boots here at Thoroughgood, this is where it ends. And literally, what, 21 days, man, this is where your career ends.
This is where it's going to end.
Well, this has really been a pleasure. Thank you for walking us around and telling us your story and then telling the Thoroughgood story, because I don't think you can tell your story without telling this story. You
You're
know
right.
what I mean?
You're right.
Really, really cool.
It's been definitely part of my life and a really,
Yeah.
really good part of it.
Yeah, you're leaving it in a good place. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate this.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
You bet.
You landed here in your mid-30s.
I did.
Yeah, I did the math while you were talking. I was wafting and I looked over and she was laughing at me.
You tell people you're from Wisconsin, the first thing they say is, "Oh, is that by Chicago?" It's like, "No, I'm north of Chicago." "Oh, you're in Canada?"
Are you a double knotter?
I am, but not that way.
What do you mean not that way?
Do what you're gonna do, but you do your bunny ears. You know, you were. In
I was all right?
Yep.
Bunny ears.
Stop. No. See, you're doing it backwards.
How many pairs of boots did you go through in 27 years?
Well, I'm not Imelda Marcos.
That ties up episode 9 of Inside Wisconsin's Deeper Roots with Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Dad joke, had to. If you have a Deeper Roots story that you would like us to share, we're listening. Just go and fill out the form on the website, farmandfleet.com/deeper roots. We want to tell your story. Just go fill out the form. Let us know. If you'd like to learn more about Thoroughgood's incredible boot making legacy up there in Merrill, check them out online, thoroughgoodusa.com. And as always, remember to like us on YouTube and hit subscribe. And if you're listening to the podcast, go leave us a 5-star review here at Inside Wisconsin and Deeper Roots with Blaine's Farm and Fleet. We'll see you soon.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Remember to subscribe on YouTube, leave a review, smash the like button, just get with us.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Aaron's Company, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, Prevea Health, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Shut up and sit down.